Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to discuss about pronouns, the words which are usually used in place of nouns. Now, when we talk about pronouns, the first and the most basic kind of pronouns are personal pronouns. And there's something very peculiar about the pronouns which I would definitely like to share with you. In other parts of speech, whenever we make a mistake, let's say like tenses or adverbs or adjectives, mistakes, they usually stand out. But in case of pronouns, usually when we make a mistake or an error, we rarely understand that what is the mistake that we have made here. And that is why we have noticed that even the people with the most wonderful command over English language, they make mistakes in uses of pronouns. And personal pronouns, that's the most basic and the most important type of pronouns. So here, if we have a proper understanding, so many of our mistakes in usage of personal pronouns and the usage of pronouns overall, they can be greatly reduced. Personal pronouns, as we talked about just now, they denote names of persons, places, objects. They replace nouns. These are the words which are used in the place of nouns. And hence, some witty grammarian very cleverly called them stunt doubles of English grammar. Like when you watch a movie shooting and whenever stunts are supposed to be done, usually the stars, the actors, and the actresses don't do it. They have a stunt to do it for them. So similar is the role and similar is the function of pronouns. They replace nouns and they act as doubles for them. Now, pronouns, or specifically speaking, personal pronouns give us information on number one, the person. It tells us that who is talking, who is the star of the sentence. Is it I, myself, who is the subject of the sentence, or am I speaking to somebody else? Am I addressing somebody else? Or we are talking about some other person, or this person can be a male or a female, or even an animal or an object. So I give you a very simple example to elaborate this point. For example, let's talk about a very simple pronoun we. Now, what person is this? This is first person. Further details we'll do just now. What is we? Is it singular or is it plural? We is definitely plural. And what is the gender of we? Now you'll be surprised. Now we represents a group. Now in this group, they can be all males, they can be all females, or it can even be a combination of males and females. Therefore, the gender of a group is never masculine or feminine, rather it is neutral. So we, the gender is neuter. Personal pronouns, they're usually classified into three broad or three major categories. The first one is the subjective pronouns. Now, as the name indicates, subjective pronouns, they are the subject of the sentence. They are the star, they are the hero of whatever conversation, whatever narrative we are talking about or we are discussing. And another thing very important about subjective pronouns is usually they are the doers of action. They are not the receivers of action, rather they are the doers. As we said, they are the subject, they are the stars of the story, stars of the sentence. And even if little bit grammar that you people remember from school, I'm sure you remember that there is concept of persons in English as well. And how many kinds of persons are there? There are three persons: first person, second person, third person. So this is the basic introduction. Who is first person? Of course, very easy way to remember is, suppose if I ask all of you, according to you, who is the most important person in this world? Now, in most of our cases, our answer would be I. All the beautiful girls listening to this lecture, if I ask you who's the most beautiful girl in the world, or if I ask the young boys listening to this lecture, who's the most handsome and intelligent boy in this world, our unanimous answer in most of the cases would be I. So I is the first person. Now what is I? Is it singular or is it plural? It is singular. So what is plural of I went on a picnic, plural, we went on a picnic. So first person I, that is the person who is speaking. Second person you, means the person who is being addressed or the person who's being spoken to. And remember, you stays you, whether it is singular or whether it is plural. Now, third person. Another easy way to remember third person is anyone who is not I or you becomes a third person, means other people. He, she, it. Now, it can denote animals, it can denote objects, items, etc. So he, she, it is singular and the plural is they. So this is the subjective case of pronouns, where the pronoun is the subject or the doer of action. Now, after subjective pronouns, the next category that we talk or we discuss about are objective pronouns. Now, here again, as the name indicates, in subjective case, the pronoun was the subject. In objective case, the pronoun is the object of the sentence. So what was subjective pronoun? They were doers of action. And what are objective pronouns? They are receivers of action. So that is the easiest and the simplest way to remember the distinction between the two categories. And when we say objective pronouns, what is the further connotation of this? Means the object always gets affected by the action of this by the action the subject of the sentence does. Like Ram kicks the ball. Ball becomes an object or it gets affected by the action of Ram. Now remember, here also we carry forward with the concept of persons. What is first person? Previously it was I. Now this I becomes me. Plural, we becomes us. Second person, now something very comfortable and something very easy to remember here is you stays you, whether it is the subject of the sentence or whether it is the object of the sentence. A subject of the sentence like you did this work. Here you is the doer of action. And how can we show an objective case? He is looking for you. Means the action is being done by somebody else, but you are the object. Means you will get affected by the action of the doer. So remember, you stays you, whether you are the subject of the sentence or whether you are the object of the sentence. Okay, and third person, he, she, it gets converted into him, her, it. That is singular. And plural, of course, they becomes them. Okay, so subjective case, doers of action, subject of sentence. Objective case, object of sentence and receivers of action. Now, after the subjective pronouns and the objective pronoun, the third important category of personal pronouns is called possessive pronouns. Possessive, as the word indicates, these pronouns, they always show a kind of ownership. They show a kind of possession. And of course, again, these words, they replace now. Now here, first person is, what do I say? This book is mine. So first person, mine. This house is, this country is ours. Ours, plural. Second person, this responsibility is yours. Yours. And again, whether it is plural or whether it is singular, yours stays yours. And third person, this bag is his. This purse is hers. I have a pet at home. Its tail is black. So how do we show possession in third person? His, hers, its. And plural, this building is theirs. Now, there's one thing very important what I would like to mention and highlight here is, whenever you talk about possessive case of pronouns, they never take an apostrophe. Please remember this. And this is a very, very common mistake, to the extent that even you'll find at times in advertisements, in blogs, or even in newspapers of articles, we find this kind of a mistake. There is a difference between ITS and IT apostrophe S. And for your further reference, we have done a separate video on the usage of ITS, which is a possessive case of pronoun, and IT apostrophe S, which is a contraction for it is. So please, for further details and elaboration, do check out on that video as well. So we did three cases of pronouns: subjective pronouns, objective pronouns, and possessive pronouns. So I hope there is some kind of a clarity. And for further practice, we will do few sentences in this sort of a quiz. I have not given you options. Let's try to fill in the blanks ourselves. Dash works for Microsoft. Dash works for Microsoft. A very simple, short and a sweet sentence. And I think most of you would get it correct. So what can you put in the blank? We can say he works for Microsoft or she works for Microsoft. So both these sentences are correct. And what is he and she in this particular case? They are the doers of action. And since they are the doers of action, we take subjective case, which is he or she. Okay, right. Now we move on to the next sentence. Why are you glaring at dash? Now please understand, in this sentence, who is the doer? Doer of the sentence is you. You are doing the action. And what am I doing? I'm simply receiving your action. So receivers of action. What kind of a pronoun we should have here? Objective pronoun. Remember, what was first case objective singular? It becomes me. So why are you glaring at me? Because I am the receiver of an action and you are the doer of action. Okay, this responsibility is dash. Now, well, generally speaking, this responsibility is theirs. What can we put in this blank? We can say this responsibility is theirs. We can say this responsibility is his. We can say this responsibility is hers. Any of these. All of them would be correct. But somebody has to take the ownership of this responsibility. And therefore, we use a possessive pronoun here. So this responsibility is theirs, his, hers, any of them. All would work. Dash, all should be thankful for small mercies. First of all, please understand, we are using this word all. So definitely we are not going to use a singular pronoun. Rather, we are going to use a plural pronoun. So dash, all should be thankful for small mercies. And here we are the subject of the sentence, or we are the star of the sentence. So we will use subjective case. And what is the word? What is the pronoun we would insert here? We all should be thankful for small mercies because we are the doers of action, or we are the subject of the sentence. Okay, next one. Grandpa bought many candies. Full stop. Dash, pockets are full. So who is the hero of the sentence? What is the subject of the sentence? Grandpa. So grandpa bought many candies. He is the doer. He is the subject. Dash, pockets are full. So as a result of the action of grandpa, what is the object? Pockets. And what is happening to pockets? Pockets are getting stuffed. They are full. So here, what kind of a pronoun we will use? We will use an objective pronoun. And since we are talking about the grandpa, now this objective pronoun essentially has to be masculine. So what do we say? His pockets are full. And the last sentence, my car runs faster than yours. Now this is clear and cut, a simple case of comparison. I am comparing your car with my car. And I say my car runs faster than yours. Position of your car. So today, in today's video, we just discussed personal pronouns and their various categories. So I hope it gives you some kind of a clarity. And what is the use of personal pronouns? Our greater understanding of personal pronouns enables us to speak and write with absolute precision and economy. And of course, we save ourselves from the cumbersome activity of using nouns at every step. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Happy learning!